Welcome back to Next Chapter, planning your retirement story. Don't we want to write a good one? See, it turns out we actually write this thing, all right? It isn't just handed to you. It's not a retirement brochure. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull, but the host of this podcast is Stephen Sabo, the financial advisor, or a financial advisor, because you got a whole team of people, Stephen.
That's right.
At Executive Financial Group, just in the greater Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. If you want to hear past episodes of this show, or get in touch with Stephen and the team, you can start at mynextchapterliving.com or executivefinancialgroup.com. Stephen, hope you're well today, sir.
Yeah, I'm doing very well, Doug. Very well, Doug. Thank you. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Hope you're not well done. That means you're probably prepped for the holiday table.
Yeah.
Hey, we just got done with the holidays there, and I remember you telling me offhand before that your mom is usually the host of the holidays. So does that take some pressure off you and your fiance, or do you have to show up with a real good dish?
Yeah, actually, you know what? There wasn't a whole lot of pressure there, but we did host Erica's family, my fiance's family, on Christmas Eve. So a little bit of pressure, but nothing crazy.
That's good. I'm glad nothing crazy there for the holidays. Well, last episode, we talked about some changes in 401ks, particularly for the age 60 to 63 age group and how much you can contribute. And spoiler alert, it's more. So check out the last episode there on Apple, Spotify, mynextchapterliving.com, iHeart, and be sure to turn on the subscriptions. This episode, we're going to talk about longevity risk. We're going to define it and also talk about some tips to try to fight that longevity risk. But first, we're going to laugh a little bit, or I hope we laugh anyway. I thought it was funny about income inequality, Stephen, from comedian Gary Gulman.
The income inequality is just cartoonish. Even in my business. Just the difference between me and... Do you remember the guy who played Jerry on Seinfeld? Okay. He's in the same business, ostensibly, as I am, but he is worth over $1 billion. Is he $999,911,000 better than me? And now you know my net worth.
That's pretty good there. Again, that's Gary Gulman. So, yes, well, if you're comparing I guess, LeBron James or something to a random semi-pro basketball player, I guess that might be the difference there. I'm not dogging on Gary Gulman, but nonetheless, people have all sorts of different lifestyles in retirement, but when you have a different lifestyle, that's a different expense, Stephen. And I think anybody, just about anybody, but certainly people of middle-class vibe can have a longevity risk. So can you define what that is first?
Yeah, really, longevity risk is just the possibility of living longer than expected and running out of money during retirement. It could rise due to increasing life expectancy, health problems that came up, whatever it is, but it's, outliving your money in retirement.
Outliving your money in retirement. And I'm asking you offhand, I didn't have you look this up beforehand. Is there a certain percentage of people that's expected to happen to? Or, I mean, is this a common thing that people have?
You know what? If done properly, it shouldn't be. Whenever we create a plan, we try and take into consideration all of these things. We want to know how long has your family lived? Did you guys go early? Has your family had health issues, health problems, things like that? Do you have any health issues right now? Because we want to try and plan out for everything. Obviously, it's never going to be perfect, but we want to make sure that, all these different scenarios that may pop up, maybe you do live longer than expected. And we want to make sure that you're going to be okay if you went longer than we had projected for you. It's never comfortable talking about how long somebody might live, but it's an important part of a retirement plan and making sure that they aren't going to run out of money.
Well, people should definitely pay attention to their genealogy, particularly what happened with their parents. But, anything can happen. There could be hit by a bus or a cancer diagnosis or any number of things there.
That's
so
right.
We're never guaranteed anything. So Rachel Christian from bankrate.com wrote an article about what longevity risk is, but also 5 ways to preserve your retirement savings. And within that, she talked about some things that impact how much longevity risk there can be in your retirement savings, Stephen. And I see about 5 different things here that can cause you to start to have alarm there as you get later in years.
Yeah, there's different, depletion of your retirement savings, increased healthcare costs, inflation. That's a big one that we saw, kind of peak up around 2022 or so. And then lower standard of living. If you run out of money, then you either got to cut back on your bills or, go back to work, something like that we don't want to see in 80, 90 years old. So
No, it's tough to turn those shakes and Mickey D's when you're 90 years old. Okay,
that's right.
And another one too. I don't know if you said it out. Market volatility. You don't actually
right.
is one person in your field said to me one time. Market volatility is only market volatility. It's not a loss until you're actually ready to sell. So
that's right.
The market could go up and down and up and down, and hopefully it's where you needed to be when you need to pull that money out. Now, there are 5 strategies, though, to mitigate this longevity risk. So we talked about 5 different ways it shows up, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Now 5 ways to mitigate it.
Yeah, sure. So, one of the ways that you can mitigate it is claiming Social Security benefits at the right time. That's one of the biggest questions we get. When do we claim Social Security? And again, it's going to be different for everybody based on your age and things like that. But that's one way. Consider the benefits of an annuity. Annuities can kind of be one of those things that a lot of people, they don't necessarily like to hear that word because they've been told something negative about it. But just like anything, we've come a long way with all these different products and services. And just like anything else, there's good annuities and there's bad annuities. Working with somebody that knows a lot about them and knows the good ones, the bad ones, how to utilize them. They're a tool like anything else. So if you utilize them properly, they can really be a big benefit for you in retirement.
Yeah, and I know you have a lot of experience working with those.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they're a big part of what we do for retirees. They become a very big tool that we utilize a lot. So. And then another one is, managing your healthcare costs. If you have an opportunity to fund an HSA, that's a great way because you get an upfront tax break, you get tax deferred growth. And then if you use it for qualified healthcare expenses, you can get tax-free withdrawals from there. So, that can be a big thing, managing your health costs. And then back to that one that I missed there, protecting your savings from market volatility and inflation. Like you said, if the markets are going up, whenever you decide that you need some money, hey, that's great. But if they aren't and the markets are going down and you're taking a systematic income from your portfolio, you could be in a big in big trouble if you're drawing it out and it's going down at the same time. That's a double whammy, and you could end up running out of money.
That would definitely make the alarms go off. Imagine you've been retired like 10 years. So you're very much used to every day being a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're suddenly out of money. And all you have is your Social Security income coming in. You got to have a better plan than that.
Certainly. People were, thrust into that position back in 2008, 2009. And it was, if you didn't have the right plan, you could have easily have been back to work after something like that.
There's one more kind of major way that the author of this column talks about trying to mitigate the longevity risk.
Right. And that's, they had purchase and long-term care insurance. And I'll come out right now and say that I don't personally sell long-term care insurance by itself. But again, we're in the 21st century. Products, services have come a very long way. And there are a lot of things out there that they kind of blend long-term care with some of these other things out there. And it's, they've been wonderful for the clients that we've used them for because, typically with long-term care insurance, it's, if you don't use it, you lose it. And so you might pay a whole lot of money over the years and never use it and you're out all that money. But today, there are what are called, hybrid policies where maybe you can blend long-term care with estate planning or legacy planning, for a tax-free inheritance and things like that for people. So, there are a lot of new ways out there, but purchasing long-term care or a hybrid long-term care type plan is one of those because that's something unfortunately that we're dealing with clients right now is people going into facilities and homes and paying for those can be very expensive. So.
Yeah, that's one of those tough things to try to decide whether to take the plunge on or not. And
that's right.
You can offer a nuanced approach to. You just gave kind of the good and bad reasons for that.
Right.
Here's what I'm hearing, and it's a refrain that I heard in our last episode talking about 401k contributions. Mm-hmm. No matter what it is, you got to have a plan. But an addendum, you don't set and forget that plan either.
Absolutely not. Yeah, it's not quite like the Ronco roaster of old where you set it and forget it. This is, we could set the plan, but we need to make sure that we're checking on it every once in a while just to make sure that, nothing has changed in your life and nothing is changing in the economy or in the world that is going to dictate how things go in your retirement plan. So it's important to make those changes.
And that means regularly meeting with your financial advisor to make those changes. If somebody's hearing this, maybe they don't have a financial advisor, or maybe they aren't getting the same kind of advice from somebody. So what would you tell them? I mean, we've put out the site before. There's executivefinancialgroup.com. Then what?
Yeah. Hey, if you're ready to secure your financial future, come meet with us here at Executive Financial Group. We specialize in helping retirees and people nearing retirement to create strategies to enjoy that comfortable, and worry-free retirement. Let us help guide you through tailored financial planning to match your lifestyle, smart investment strategies for income that you can't outlive, and legacy planning to protect your loved ones. Don't wait. Come on in, start preparing for retirement that you deserve today. Contact us, schedule a no obligation appointment, and we can create a personalized retirement roadmap, if you will, so that you can begin living your next chapter. That's what we want. We want successful retirement for all of our clients, and that's what we do here at Executive Financial Group.
That's why we call this podcast Next Chapter, Planning Your Retirement Story as well. Well, Stephen, one thing that stood out to me in that, we're here right at the very end of the year, that stood out to me right at the end of that call to action. Don't wait.
That's right. Yeah,
There's
not wait.
So much thought that happens there, but it takes action. Think thoughts and intentions are great, but they mean nothing to the IRS or to the bill collectors.
That's right. The worst thing that happens is that if you came to us too early, we say, hey, you got a little bit more time, but we're going to set these things into place for you and make sure that when you are ready to retire, everything's good to go and we don't have to scramble and try and figure it out at the last minute.
For sure. We don't want to wait. So yeah, when you're in the middle of it, you're in the middle of the stress, the emotion, and maybe you actually are out of money potentially.
That's right.
That's not a time to start figuring out how to save money when you're at zero. All right. So again, go to executivefinancialgroup.com. Be sure to check out our past episodes here on mynextchapterliving.com. There's been a lot of good stuff. We've just done here episode 17. So that means we've covered a lot of subjects already, including way back in the beginning, just getting to know who Stephen and his family are. Well, Stephen, thank you so much for spending the time today. And I know it's chilly out there. I know you've had to do some hosting over the holidays, but Happy New Year to you as well. And hopefully we're seeing your Steelers go a little deep in the playoffs too.
That's right. Happy New Year's to you as well. And actually, I will be headed to a Steeler game in the beginning of January. I've got some box seats from a friend, so I'm pretty excited about that.
That's fantastic. Box seats are probably a good place to be to brave those elements too.
That's right. Yeah. Yep.
I love it. I love it. Well, Stephen, thanks for the time again today. Thank you, everybody, for listening here to Next Chapter, Planning Your Retirement Story. And, of course, to our producer, Daniel Salerson, for polishing this bad boy up and sending it out into cyberspace. And, again, go to executivefinancialgroup.com and book that no-obligation appointment today and get that personalized retirement roadmap going. I'm your co-host, Doug Turnbull. He's Stephen Sabo, the financial advisor at Executive Financial Group, one of many of that great and wonderful team. And we hope you have a wonderful new year. Thanks again for listening to Next Chapter, Planning Your Retirement Story.
Thanks a lot, Doug, and thanks to everybody out there listening.
The opinions expressed by Stephen Sabo and guests on this podcast are their own and do not reflect the opinions of this podcast station. All statements and opinions expressed are based upon information considered reliable, although it should not be relied upon as such. Any statements or opinions are subject to change without notice. Investments involve risk and, unless otherwise stated, are not guaranteed. Past performance cannot be used as an indicator to determine future results. Any strategies mentioned may not be suitable for everyone. Information expressed does not take into account your specific situation or objectives and is not intended as recommendations appropriate for you. Before acting on any information mentioned, please consult with a qualified tax or investment advisor to determine if it is suitable for your specific situation. This program is designed to provide accurate and authoritative information with regard to subject covered. Investment advisory services offered through Virtue Capital Management, LLC, VCM, a registered investment advisor. VCM and Executive Financial Group are independent of each other. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 670429. Any guarantees mentioned are backed by the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company and may be subject to caps, restrictions, fees, and surrender charges as described in the annuity contract. Stephen Sabo and/or Executive Financial Group are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency.